Hello subscribers, welcome to our channel, the Low Limit Poker Challenge. My name is Ara, this is Ray, and this is our special guest star of the day, Angelo. One of our new friends from about 6 months or 12 months ago.
River Casino celebrity right here. Everybody knows this guy.
Yeah, he's friends with all the waitresses, all the dealers.
If you can see that hat, Ace King over here. Yeah, I'm pointing at this. Ace King. That's his hand.
So if you're ever in the area, you could definitely get on a 1-2 table with him. Best short stack player ever. Today he won like $600 and he always starts with $60. I don't know how he does it. Not my style.
1,000% it worked today.
Yeah, it's true. 1,000% return on his money. It's sick. And Melissa was the dealer, so thank you, Melissa. So anyway, we just finished session 5 today. Me and Ray. The results were, what did I win? I won 461, and Ray won.
I won 128.
Yeah. So I still get the lead.
He's the lead by a lot. He's definitely taken charge in this challenge after 5 sessions. But I still definitely have a lot of hope, and I do expect to catch up hopefully real quickly.
I don't expect him to catch up. I'm still going to keep winning as he's winning. But yeah, today, so I actually had a really, really rough start to this session. And we just made the session 4 video earlier. And we kind of commented on how many $500 losses I had, and I only had 1 in 50 sessions. So I actually thought, like, karma-wise, this was going to be, or, you know, kind of jinxing myself. I thought this was going to be my first session. So one of the important things we wanted to talk to you about today was your mentality as you go through a mini losing streak. So for the first $200 of my losses today, I pretty much lost 15, lost 15, lost 15, lost 15. And, you know, had pocket tens, has ace king, have ace jack, and, you know, whatever happens, you know, I have ace king, the ace or king doesn't come. I have pocket tens, and the ace and king does come. You know, one of those situations, multi-ways pot, never wins any hand. But I really have a talkative mentality, a talkative personality, a positive mentality while I'm there. And I kind of don't let those little things get to me, and I have a much longer term view. So I'll tell you one of the hands I made on the comeback trail, which was pretty interesting, instead of just telling you about a normal hand. So I was in, one guy limped in, under the gun. I was under the gun +1, and I made it $13 with pocket nines, a very common amount for me to raise. The guy in the hijack position called 13, the guy in the button called 13, and the guy that limped in called the $13. So now there's a little over $52 in the pot. Plus the small blind and big blind minus the rake, there's actually like $50 in the pot or so. So Twin River has a $5 rake, so now it's $50 in the pot. It comes out Jack 8, what was it, Jack 8-4 or something along those lines, something like Jack 8-4, and I have pocket nines. The first guy checks, I make a C-bet of $16. And I do this because I believe that I probably have the best hand at this point. I'm doing this from memory right now, so I don't have like any lines pre-scripted, so you know, follow along with me here. The guy in the hijack folds at $16. The guy on the button, who I had played with before, but I forget what his playing style was. And Ray reminded me, he was someone that we used to play with on the 5-10 no limit tables a lot. He was in the button, he called the $16. I viewed him as kind of a rich player, kind of a loose player, someone that doesn't care about whether he wins or loses $500 at all. But at the point in this hand, I did not know exactly who I was. All I knew was that I recognized him on the button. And so after he called the $16 in the button, the guy directly to my right, out of position, he called the $16 too. The turn was something lower on the lower end, nowhere near the jack or the 8.
I think it was a deuce.
Deuce, yeah.
I think it was a deuce.
Actually, it was a deuce. So the turn was the deuce of spades, and it brought a second flush draw. So now there's 2 clubs on the board, and there's 2 spades on the board. And this is one situation where I played my pocket nines differently than most people would have. So there was getting to be a significant amount of money in the pot, close to $100 at this point. And I thought, if I change the amount of my bet, so at a 1-2 table, people kind of fall into a rhythm where they expect, like, if you bet 16 on the flop, you might bet like, you know, 25 on the turn, and then you might bet like 50 on the river or something like that. So I really kind of like surprised them, like you know, a magician doing a move, and they're like a little offbeat, not what someone would expect. So when the first guy checked, I decided to bet $65, and I think this served two purposes. For one, I was bluffing. So the guy in the button, I viewed him as probably having a jack, and in hindsight, I know that he had queen jack. He was very frustrated after this hand. So I bet $65 because I thought that someone with a better hand, like a queen jack type of a hand, would actually fold. So that's what happened. He folded on the button. But I also thought the other purpose was I thought I could get value from hands that were actually worse than me. Because there were two flush draws, I thought that on a 1-2 table, they pretty much don't like folding flush draws. So if you get someone to call with a flush draw and you have any pair, you pretty much have the best hand on the turn. And pocket nines is pretty much the best hand as long as someone doesn't have a jack.
They're not getting the odds to call $65 on the turn with one card to come. So you're making them make another bad decision. Like we spoke in our last video, poker is just a continuation of making as many good decisions as possible, and your opponent's making as many bad decisions as possible. So betting 65, them calling 65 with only a flush draw, terrible decision on their part. Another one that just continues to rack up the profit.
Yeah, and a lot of times people complain about 1-2 players, how they kind of draw to everything. And this was one situation where I can have kind of a middle-ish type of hand, pocket nines on a jack-high board, and actually use it as a bluff by betting big, because the person with just the top pair and no draws to better outs, he doesn't really want to get involved when he views my bet as much, much more serious. And the other guy, the people that are willing to overpay because they want to stay in with flush draws, they are the type of people that will stay in. So what happened on the river, he didn't have much money left, and he decided to check and keep his last $30 or $40. And I checked back because I wasn't super confident that I had the best hand, but I was reasonably confident. I ended up checking back, and yeah, he said he had a multi-draw. The guy in the button folded queen jack, and I ended up winning the money with pocket nines, and putting the guy on the button on tilt for a future hand that I won some good pots against him on my road to a pretty good win for 1-2.
So in that hand, if you look at the opponents, they made the wrong decision every step along the way. The guy with the jack is the guy who should have called, and if he had called, then the guy with the draw would have been priced in. But instead, the guy with the best hand folded, the guy with the draw who was not getting the proper odds, especially with only $30-something behind, because even if he makes his hand, he can only win another 30. He made another terrible decision. At the end of it, Ara takes advantage of that, and that led to his profit.
Really quickly, do you want to do a shout out to one of the 11 or something?
All my children,
Yeah.
He's got some good kids. This guy has
11
great
kids, so
I have a future son.
we should have 11 more subscribers after this video.
He has one coming in about 2 weeks, so we
maybe next week.
We give him props. He's a very good dad.
And we only got like 1 more minute, but any hands you want to highlight from today, or anything you want to say?
Nothing. I just the ace king. I get pocket aces all the time. That's the way it works.
So, and the only other thing, my day, I won $128. It was very slow upward dwindle. But you got to remember, the days that nothing exciting happens, when you don't flop sets, you don't make straights, you don't make flushes, there's nothing wrong with small wins. I mean, winning 128 in 7 hours of playing is still $20 an hour.
And actually, he played a pretty good hand where he re-raised with a weakish type of hand and ended up winning the money on the flop. And if you guys want to tune in, we can consider using that one for a hand breakdown in tomorrow's video. And I also played a hand that one of the people that I was at the table with, I had a set of 10s and he ended up getting trip kings. So we can do that hand breakdown too. Let us know in the comments, let us know what you're interested in, which types of hands you're more interested in. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. And thanks to Angelo here for guest starring. We're gonna try to get some of the local 1-2 celebrities in some of our videos because everyone's a fun group. So.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.